What's up, all my peeps? How y'all doing today? Welcome to the Vital Axiom. We'll get kicking here just in a minute on the show on a Friday. It's lovely, yeah? No worries. There's Roseanne. Hey, Roseanne. Long time no see. Stu and Jen's here. Pauline got in. Facebook just crashed. Just about to get started. Give me 1 second. Trying to bring Facebook back up because it crashed on me. You guys ready for a countdown to get this show going? Just to let you know, we are getting started. Yeah, we are getting started. Here we go. Yeah, we're getting started. You know the splash. You guys know the drill, and then we're going to change it up soon, though. And there's the pain. How you guys doing? Welcome into the Vital Axiom on a Friday, a rainy Friday here in the southwest tip of Virginia. But still, it's better than beats the snow and the ice, that's for sure. How you guys doing? Welcome into the show. Glad you're here on a Friday. Today's number 919. 919. That's what today is. 919 of these Vital Axiom show programs. It wasn't always called that, but actually it was called nothing. It was just me and a mic, and then me and a little cell phone. Everything changed. We've grown. We want to grow some more. Hey, Geneva. There's my Aunt Geneva there. Hey, or if you're from Southwest Virginia, she's my aunt. And Mary just got on there. Hey, Mary. Hey, Lisa. I saw Terry was requesting prayer for Roy. He's in the hospital. You guys pray for him. Hey, Patty. I think I got it. Lisa and Deborah. Roseanne from New York. Are you still in New York, Roseanne? It's been a while since I've seen you there. My friends from South Carolina, Stu and Ginger and Pauline, and maybe, sorry guys, you know, it's that same thing. Maybe some others. I'm going to do an old school song we used to do back, gosh, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. Get a little drink of water. And you guys can sing it with me if you want. Let's do it together. It's called Lord, You Are My Strength. cast down and defeated, when all my dreams were lost and all my hopes seemed gone, and my strength was so depleted. I look to you with a humble heart, seeing open heaven. You stepped inside this wounded life. You give me grace that's so refreshing. Lord, you are my strength. Lord, you are my shield. You are my refuge in the time of need. Lord, you are my strength. Lord, you are my shield. You're my refuge in the time of need. Weakened by life's situation, been cast down and defeated, yeah. When all my dreams were lost and all my hopes seemed gone, and my strength was so depleted. I look to you with a humble heart. I see an open heaven. You step inside this wounded life. You give me grace that's so refreshing. Lord, you are my strength. Lord, you are my shield. Lord, you are my refuge in the time of need. Lord, you are my strength. You are my shield. You are my refuge in the time of need. When I am weak, you make me strong. Oh, you make me rich. When I am sick, you make me whole. You are my everything. When I am weak, you make me strong. Oh, you make me rich. When I am sick, you make me whole. You are my everything. Sing, oh, you are my strength. You are my strength. Yeah, when I am weak, you make me strong. Oh, you make me rich. Sick, you make me whole. You are my everything. When I am weak, Lord, when I am sick, when I am bored, you there for me. You will never leave me, God. Put my trust in the name of the Lord, and you will carry me through. You will carry me, God. I put my trust in you. Oh, Lord, you are my strength. You are my shield. You are my refuge in time of need. You are my strength. You are my shield. You're my refuge in the time of it's something we have to learn how to do, and that's to cast our cares on the Lord. It's not an automated process. It's a process we learn to do. And we do it because he cares for us. We learn to cast our cares on the Lord because he cares for us. Instead of whatever that means, I don't know. Good to see you guys on the show today. Ecclesiastes 10:19. Serve wine to make merry, money and answer everything. I don't have no idea. But thank you so much for that scriptural post there. Thank you. We pray for Roy today. You guys pray for Roy. He needs prayer. Still in New York. Let me see where I'm at. I'm trying to catch up. Hey, Cassandra, she got in here. And hey, Joanne, thank you so much. We're talking this week about history, and we're wrapping up a week of conversation. I want to talk about the epitaph today. Y'all know what that is, right? Haley. I want to talk about the epitaph. The epitaph. The epitaph is that's that thing they write on your headstone. And it's not necessarily written on a headstone. It could be written in the funeral words. It could be something like that. Basically, it's a memory of who you were, what you did. And epitaphs are just a short amount of words that tell a whole story of your whole life. We started this week talking about what kind of history you make. And let me give you some of the notes. We said history is what you do with the time and talent you were given. And we've been talking about what kind of history are you making. And here's the basic premise, if you haven't been with us all week. What will people say about you when you're gone? Or even now, what do they say about you now? And I'm not talking about people gossiping about you, but what impression do you leave in their life? For example, I remember one family member that I was afraid every time I heard their name, and I never wanted to be around them because of the history they'd already made by the time I was a child, the violence and abuse. And so that was the history in my mind, and I'll tell you, it's hard to live that down. I know that later in life they somewhat softened, and they died a pretty miserable death. But it was hard to shake the history they'd made in my life. And so I want you to think about the history you're making in the lives of your family, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, the people at work, the people around you. What kind of history? What will they say? What will they say? I thought about my epitaph. Maybe they would say, "Here lies Wayne. He was such a pain. Hope I never have to see his face again." I hope that's not what it is. Here lies Wayne. We miss him. Maybe he was nice and friendly. It's kind of crazy. Who followed something shiny and now she's gone. You must be a bass fisherman. I want you to think about your life because you're clicking off these historical moments right now. Here they are. This very second, we're making history, and you want that to be quality. You want it to be a history that says something powerful, something that is a blessing. You know, you guys all have known people, and I know some people have personality disorders, mental illness. I know a lot of things, but you guys have all had people in your lives that made your life miserable when you were around them. But you've also had people in your lives that you just like, man, I can't wait to see them again, and just be around them. They always encourage me. They're always a blessing. I think about you guys see Stuart and Ginger on here. I'm gonna embarrass them a little bit. We moved to South Carolina, my wife and I, in 1987 to become youth pastors at a big church down there, and things didn't go so well. Not with us. We didn't really do anything wrong. The situation was bad going in. We didn't know, but one incredible blessing came out of it is some great friends, Stuart and Ginger, and even though we don't get to see them like we'd like to, they made such an impression in our life. Every time we see them, it's encouraging and blessing, and I think about them always with pleasant thoughts. I never have and I never have that. They probably have it when they think about me. But I want you to think about what kind of impression you leave on the lives of people around you. And so, life's not about leaving impressions. Actually, it is. It's very much about that. In fact, when we look at Scripture, there's all this talk about your history, lots of it. And we've shared lots of passages this week. There's all this talk about how you live, how you treat people, the fruit of the Spirit. I often tell people that the majority of the 10 Commandments and pretty much all of the fruit of the Spirit deal with how you treat people: gentleness, meekness, kindness, thou shalt not do all these things. It's about your relationship with people around you. It's about the history you make. And God sees that history is so important that one day when you stand before him, he's going to replay it, what hasn't been erased by the blood. He's going to replay that. And if you don't understand that term, the blood of the Lamb, that salvation experience, he's going to replay it, and then he's going to honor you based upon it. He's going to honor you based upon your history. And hopefully, you just didn't sit around and complain and give people a hard time, but you were a blessing. You say, well, I can't do anything. Well, can you bake? Bake something for somebody. If you can pray for somebody. If you can clean, go clean somebody's house. I mean, there's so many things that we could do to build incredible godly history, to bless people, to be a blessing to the kingdom. And most of all, just to be obedient to God. You say, well, what do you mean be obedient? Well, he's shown you what to do in the Word. He'll speak to you individually, be led by the Spirit, and build up a history that is honorable. I mean, it's something that is a blessing to other people. The culture that we're living in now is so about self, about myself and my feelings and my life, and the self-centered, that whole self-centered thing that we want everybody to pay attention to us, and we're just so glued. I mean, the selfie is literally the definition of this generation. That's crazy and it's sad. But I want you to think about your life, not mine, not your spouse's or your kids, but your life. What are you doing? What are you doing making history? So, we get to heaven and your history is that you laid around and ate popcorn or cheesies and watched TV shows and reruns of Andy Griffith. It doesn't have any value to it. And so therefore, where there'll be no reward involved. And I think a lot of people miss the reality that when you get to heaven, there is a process. You ever thought about this? And I don't really have an answer, but I'll give you one of my thought processes about that. He'll wipe every tear. He'll wipe every tear. And I think about in heaven, why would there be any tears? Why would there be any tears? Maybe it's regret. And maybe we get there and realize all we could have done, and we spend our time on trivial, ridiculous things that really have no meaning or matter. If we're not loving people and blessing people, if we're not praying for people, if we're not, being filled with the Spirit, that we might be dynamically involved in the lives of those around us, that we can bless them and encourage them. Paul said some things. Paul said, I press toward the mark of the high call of God. He said, I've run the race. I don't look to the left or the right. I'm headed straight toward the things that God. That's that process of history. He says, I'm going to make some history. And boy, did he ever make some incredible history. In fact, we all, think about this. Now think about your own life now. We all really kind of springboard off the history of Paul. Is anybody going to springboard off your history? Is anybody going to go, man, my mom used to say, she talked about Jesus and she pointed me to his grace and his mercy. And my dad, he was a man of God. He walked in integrity. He treated my mom, and even though sometimes she had hard days, he was right there for her. I mean, I want you to think about, is anybody going to springboard off your history, or are they all going to run from your history? Or are they going to be wounded by your history? It's very important that we pay attention. I know, and listen, if you weren't here early in the week, I took a little bit of issue with I don't want to leave a legacy by Casting Crowns. I do want to leave a legacy. I know what the song is about, that everything's about Jesus. It is about Jesus. But Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. I want my kids, I want them to know Jesus, of course, but I want them to know that they can live a life of respect and honor and godliness, and I want them to see that in those that preceded them. That's very important that we do that, and that's called leadership, and it's called being a parent, being a godly mom, a dad, a grandpa, whatever it is. I want my kids to see grandpa. They call me Poppy. I want them to see, when they think about him when he's dead and gone, or even while he's still living, they could say things like, yeah, my Poppy, man, he loves Jesus. I mean, I want that kind of history to be made in my life. I'm making history with them right now. And that history is going to build up to them looking at their own life in light of my life, in light of the light of Jesus' life, and making a decision, hey, that's how I want to live. And it's so important for us to do that. If we don't really consider the history that we're making, we're going to miss a lot. We're going to make a lot of mistakes, I believe. I really do believe we're going to make a lot of mistakes and end up hurting a lot of lives or just wasting time. God didn't give you time to waste. Okay, I believe in recreation. Let me just say that. I was kicking the other day on video games and movies, and I was kicking on all that. But let's talk about don't waste time. I believe in recreation. You need some. not as much as you probably get. This generation probably gets more recreation than any other generation in history. What kind of history are you making? Let me just kind of close out because we're at the end of the show here, and I want you to think about some of the things. I'm going to repeat what we said this week. History is what you did with the time and talent you were given, and you've been given a lot. Every moment we live, we are writing history. Every moment lost is opportunity lost. Time lost is history lost. And the big looming question over us this week is, what history are you making? What history are you writing? It's being written down. And will our history be this thing where we just go back to God and say, I'm sorry all the time? Or will we end up being in a place where we are doing great things for his kingdom? And we really got to become aware of who we are and what our history says. Okay, kids. Number 919 is in the books. It's done. We're done. Be back on Monday, guys. I think Facebook's making some changes, so I hope we don't have any trouble next week, but we'll see. I think I've got it already taken care of, but I'm going to check on it. Hey, if you want to give to the Vital Action, we never ask for that. We never talk about money, but we are trying to get an upgrade before show number 1,000. Before show number 1,000, we need to get a little bit better camera equipment and all the supporting gear for that, and a new keyboard and a kind of a few things in the studio so we can get more people in. Okay, kids, that's it. Love you guys. Share the show with somebody, and we'll see you guys Monday. Get to church somewhere this weekend and worship with the believers, and let God help you start writing great history. Love you guys. Be blessed. Have a great day. Das vidanya. Adios.